Welcome to Great Stories from the Game and its people, the show about the great personalities who have a positive impact on the game, not just on the court, but also in life. Now, let's join our host.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Great Stories from the Game and its people. I'm your host, Chris Broussard, and we've got a really special show planned for you today. In this episode, we're going to focus the spotlight on Ernie Johnson. Now, you may know Ernie as the studio host of the legendary show Inside the NBA on TNT. But what you may not know is the exceptional life that Ernie lives outside of the studio. It's a life leading through example, overcoming adversity, and walking with the utmost integrity. Ernie is the 2022 Jerry Colangelo Award recipient. So let's watch him accept his award and hear from those closest to him.
Well, let's welcome the 2022 Jerry Colangelo Award winner, Ernie Johnson.
Good morning, hon. Good morning, everyone. Ern, I am in your office because you're not here today. You are at a breakfast where Athletes in Action is going to honor those people who exemplify faith, character, leadership, and achievement. And I am in your office to clear a space on your shelves. Could not be more proud of you for winning this award that honors you because of the way that you honor your God, your family, and your community. We love you. I love you because after almost 40 years, you still bring me flowers every week. But you don't buy one bouquet, you buy two. And every week, you in the parking lot of Publix, you give the other one out to a random person. I love you because you make the world's smallest pancakes for the kids and are the only one who's allowed to make them pancakes. And because you do wear the shirt all the time that says, "Be a better human," and you are one. Could not love you more. Congratulations. Love you too.
Ernie, Shaq here. Want to say congratulations. Any award you receive is well deserved. Remember the first time you came to my house in 1989. I've been a fan since. It's an honor to sit next to you. Congratulations. I love you. Kenny loves you. Chuck loves you. Congratulations, brother. You are the best ever. The GOAT.
We do appreciate everything you do. And also, you know, I see what this award kind of signifies. You know, in later years, at Jerry Colangelo, you know, the award will also have your name possibly. There's going to be awards with the Ernie Johnson Award on it because of character, leadership, and all the things that you bring, not only as here on the set, but as a man. And that's very important to us, even though in 1989 you weren't at my house.
Yeah, Chuck here. Listen, if I had $1 every time I heard he came to this house in 1989, I'd be a billionaire. I wouldn't be working. Hey, Ernie, man, you know, we call you the Godfather because you are the Godfather. I've been blessed and honored to work with you for 21 years. You know, I'm looking at this thing, faith, character, leadership, and achievement. You're 4 for 4. You're an awesome person. Man, you and Cheryl Ann are two of the most amazing parents in the world. But man, as far as work, the hard work and effort you put in to make us 3 fools look good every week.
2 fools. 1 fool, rather.
Okay. The work you put in every week to make this 1 fool Shaq look good every week.
It was amazing to see Ernie's wife talking about his life and why he's the right man for this award. Well, let's hear from Ernie himself as he shares some of the stories that have made him the person of integrity and honor he is today.
Cheryl, yeah. How about the story of the flowers? Goodness gracious, that just speaks again to who Ernie Johnson is. And I will tell you, yes. Um, 40 years. You're an example in every aspect of life. So I'm gonna shut up. I just needed you to know, and most importantly, your wife, needed you to know how loved you are, and we are blessed to have you here. Congratulations, Ernie. The stage is yours. Thank you. Love you.
We would call this, in the Johnson household, a Blackberry moment, which comes from something that happened a long time ago, folks, when I was just a kid. When I was a 9-year-old kid playing Little League baseball. And I'm the shortstop on this team, and guy on the other team hit a ground rule double, ball that bounces over the fence, gets 2 bases, and scored a couple of runs. And so before the game could resume, we had to locate our left fielder and our center fielder because they had jumped over the fence to go get the ball. And we went out there and we could see the ball. But the left fielder and the center fielder were about 10 feet away in the middle of this game eating blackberries. Which is something we found amusing at the time. But then you get a little older and you reflect on things that happened. And it became a modern day parable for me. Because I said, sometimes you've got to be able to step away from the game and appreciate the Blackberry moments. You know, Mom and Dad had said, hey, this is a big game. You know, everything, focus on this big game. Got to win this, 9 and 10-year-old, you got to win. And here are these 2 kids who said, man, but blackberries. Heck with a game. Blackberries. And so that's what we try to do in our family, is spread Blackberry moments and enjoy those Blackberry moments, those unscripted moments that make your life unpredictable, make it extraordinary. And so that's the term we use anytime really anybody has a good day and something happens that just brightens your day. That's what Cheryl Ann's referring to. So, look, I get her flowers for no reason, aside from that she's put up with me for ages and ages. And so this one time, I had bought 2. And this has been going on for a few years now. I'm not trying to guilt out any of the husbands in here, like, hey, this is just me, all right? So, and here's, because I had bought 2, and I'm back in the parking lot, and I'm putting my groceries away, and I'm putting these flowers away, and I see this older woman in a handicap spot who's loading up some groceries, and she's struggling a little bit. And so, why I had 2 bouquets, you know, there must have been something egregious that had gone on this week that I thought, hey, I'm not getting 1, I'm getting 2, you know. But I said, you know what, Cheryl will be happy with 1. What can I do with this other one? And I went over to this woman, and I'm like, hey, look, this makes no sense to me, and it makes no sense to you, but I want you to have these flowers. And she said, my husband died 1 year ago today. I haven't gotten flowers since. See, there are certain circumstances and certain meetings, certain interactions that are just ordained. It's just a tap on the shoulder that says, see that woman? Sometimes it's more than a tap, it's kind of a shove. See that extra flower? Give them to her. Don't ask questions, just give them to her. It's been a year to the day since my husband died. I haven't gotten flowers since. And you just sit here and say, okay. And so now every time I go in, I get 2. And 1 goes to somebody else. And I've heard similar stories, not to that extent. I've just heard, you know what? I appreciate that. My husband's been looking for work. Hey, I appreciate that. My mom's sick. Hey, I appreciate that. I was just going to go and buy flowers. Use these. No questions asked. Just do it. And it doesn't have to be flowers. Blackberry Moments come in a gesture, comes in a wave, comes in a handshake, comes in a 2-minute conversation with somebody who's hurting. Those create Blackberry Moments. We get so crazy. Sage knows this too. I mean, our lives, our jobs, everything, man, it has us hopping. And sometimes you just need to try to step back, try to not hurry. One of my favorite authors is a philosopher, a theologian, Dallas Willard, who said, the great roadblock to a spiritual life is hurry. And what he said is we must ruthlessly eliminate hurry from our lives. You know, ruthlessly is a pretty strong word. This is not, hey, you should consider removing hurry from your life, or hey, it might be a nice idea to not hurry. He says, if it's for me, I'm speaking. He says, ruthlessly. Means get rid of it. Because what does hurry do? Man, you're here. It's I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. Man, I'm gonna miss my flight. I'm gonna miss this meeting. And if you ruthlessly eliminate hurry, it allows you to look up. It allows you to see the person who needs 2 minutes of your time. It allows you to see the person who's saying, hey man, can you help me out? And think of a way you can help them out. So I've tried to eliminate hurry as much as I can. I have a couple of visual aids for you today. But what I carry with me every day is this collection of stuff in this little bag. I used to just let it put it in there free, then I was losing stuff. But I've got pennies. I've got a little thing that says joy. I've got a seashell from the favorite place my family goes, and I've got all these pennies. And the thing about the pennies is that each of them, the date on each of them has significance in my life. That 1997 penny, which is the year that I met this guy named Jesus and changed my life. It is. I'm telling you. Yeah, I met him at this church, but then I really got to know him at this O'Charlie's restaurant in a lunch with my pastor, who had told me, I'd said, man, God's messing with me at this stage of my life in 1997. I said, God's messing with me. And so we're having lunch, and he says, you're a prayer away. And we did. We joined hands at this O'Charlie's restaurant. I was having the southern chicken salad with honey mustard on the side, a little sweet tea. And it was a life-changing day. Because only in that moment was I able, from that point on in my life, to switch from a me-centered life to a God-centered life. Mark, you talked about basketball being your God for a while, and it was the same thing. It was like my job. It was this broadcasting career. It was all about me. And it was such a change in 1997 on December 10th to a Christ-centered life, to a purpose-filled life. So that when you get through these moments in your life where you're challenged. And twice in my life, I've had a doctor look across the table from me and say, you got cancer. Twice. And it's that faith that sustains you. It's that knowledge, it's that verbalizing, it's that knowing here and here. I'm going to trust God, period. And I'm going to trust God if this next test comes back and says, hey, you don't need chemo. No. When they say, no, we're going to start that. It's not trust God if and I'll trust God when. It's trust God, period.
Real quick, I think it was 4 years ago when I saw Ernie some airport. Is that what we determined? Airports. That's where I see Ernie Johnson. And he asked, I don't even remember how we got on the topic, but long story short, I told you about my dad earlier and how he's my everything, he's my hero. And he has been battling prostate cancer for a decade, which is the good cancer until it's not, until it spreads, and that's what's happened with my dad. It's been behaving the past few years, though. But 5 years ago, my goodness, this week, I didn't even realize, 5 years ago this week, he was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, and it's a blood cancer, and there's not a cure right now, but he's, relatively speaking, doing well. The tests, he's still on chemo all the time. Anyway, Ernie asked if he could call my dad. And I haven't been around Ernie that much, just business and different networks. And again, he's EJ, he's here. We all strive to be him as broadcasters, but as people as well. And he called my dad. So when I told my dad what I was doing today, he got emotional. He's like, please thank him, because listen what Ernie just said about all that he's dealing with, has dealt with Michael, so busy, crazy job with crazy people. And he chose to make the time to call my dad. So it's those little things in life that matter, and that is why your choices make you so deserving of the Jerry Colangelo Award. Character, leadership, faith. He's done it all, and he's done it all the best possible way. And that faith part, again, we all have struggles, but what's the definition of it? Is to take that step forward, even if you don't know what that road is going to lead to. And it's scary. I think we've all been there. So thank you for sharing and for being the best example ever. And for taking time, like, for the little people all the time, whether it's in the grocery store parking lot with flowers or this girl's hero. So thank you.
I don't really think I've given it. I haven't really been in front of a group. Do a lot of speaking, but I haven't been in front of a group since I lost my son. That love you too symbol that you saw earlier, which has kind of gone around the world, is what my son Michael, who we adopted from Romania, he would say, love you too. He had trouble speaking. He had developmental delays. He had muscular dystrophy. He was on a ventilator for the last 10 years. Lived a remarkable, miraculous life by the grace of God. You know, it's like one of those things where, you know, my wife and I had to do everything for him for so long. And we had him for 30 years out of the 33 he lived. And, you know, it's a God thing too. I think, you know, you wake up every day and you know you're going to have to serve. It's kind of that message that the Son of Man came to serve and not be served. And so it kind of puts you in that servant mode when you're doing everything for a kid or a young man. And so this message that was birthed by a high school basketball coach who put Michael on a basketball team because he wanted his team to learn a heart for others and maximum effort, and dang, what a life. And look, this buddy of mine, Phil Beaulieu, who's a basketball coach, he's the one who put Michael on a basketball team. And he's teaching at the same time, obviously. Phil is a teacher and a coach, and he's in the middle of classes, he would say, I got to tell you about this kid, Michael Johnson, this kid who was born in Romania, this kid who goes to our school, and he's in a wheelchair, and he doesn't say much, but he says, love you too, and Phil had met him. And so he said, I know there's a lot of sign language going on in this school, in the hallways. Most of it involves one finger. And the kids all nodded and said, yeah, that's kind of true. And Phil said, well, try this on for size. He says, try this on. He said, this is I love you. And so Phil starts teaching that. And on senior night, Michael, you know, the players got their stuff, and Michael goes out there and drives his wheelchair out, and man, you know, people cheered for Michael when he came up. In the student section, I look up in the student section and they're standing like this. Only God. Only God takes a basketball coach from Indiana, puts him in Brazelton, Georgia, connects him with a kid who was born in Romania and adopted into this high school and teaches a whole school about love. Only God does that. I can't orchestrate that. I can't connect those dots. But for God, it's like, oh yeah. See, this is why. See, this is why Cheryl saw this kid in the orphanage. This is why Phil Beaulieu took this job from Indiana into Brazelton, Georgia. That's why you live where you live, because it's in this school district, because that's where I need Michael Johnson to see Phil Beaulieu. Only God does that. Only the God I follow. Since 1997, December 10th. And it's only God who sees you through the loss of that kid. Because these last 3.5 months have had their moments. I mean, God promises. He'll walk through it with you. And some of those days, I got a pretty good spring in my step, and then other days, I'm limping. Here's the last little bit of visual aid. That December 10th, 1997 day is remembered by my wife, Cheryl Ann. She's so special. She's always given me something on that birthday, that spiritual birthday. And one year, I woke up after sleeping in the night. You know, I'd been working late, and I just see this little box, and I open it up. And despite my outward appearance, I am not a rugged outdoorsman. What? But she got me this. She got me this compass. Yeah, there you go. And I said, wow, it's beautiful. That's really cool. Why did my wife buy me a compass? And then I looked at just this little note she had put inside the box too. And it said, remembering the day you found your direction. Yeah, I outkicked my coverage big time when I married Cheryl Ann. So, I remember that day fondly. The day I got this and the day that I said yes to that relationship with Jesus Christ changed my life, changed my perspective, changed the way I approach everything, changed the way I raise my kids. I'd encourage you to check your direction, which way you're headed. I thank AIA, thanks to my friends here, thanks to Jerry Colangelo. It's a humbling day. I thank you for putting up with me and putting up with just trying to get past some things, trying to deal with some things. To be able to speak about this guy, Michael, somewhat coherently, and thank you.
What an amazing life story and perspective Ernie Johnson brings. While I've personally been a fan of his for quite some time, it was incredible to hear some of the Blackberry moments that have made Ernie Johnson the man he is today. If you'd like to hear from more NBAers like 2021 NBA champion and Olympic gold medalist Drew Holiday, Denver Nuggets rising star Michael Porter Jr., or 2022 NBA Coach of the Year Monty Williams, a 4-week up-close and personal series awaits. NBA stars will talk about leadership, character, faith, and achievement, plus opportunities to discuss these topics with your host. Note the following link for more information. Thank you so much for joining Great Stories from the Game and its people.